Thank you very much, Chair, and I want to welcome our guests today. Unfortunately, Chair, but very, very thankfully, I've had occasion and my family have had to use night nurses on 2 occasions, unfortunately. So I want to put on the record the great job that night nurses do and Irish Cancer Society do as well. So I think it's very important to acknowledge that work. And the harrowing stories that they've told today of other families that have experienced that and been in that place as well really brings it back home to me, Chair. But one of the biggest issues, and this has only come to me in the last couple of weeks, is the whole area of the bridging finance. I think was mentioned earlier on as well. I've come across 3 cases in the last 2 weeks with grants that government are giving. One of them is actually the Housing Aid grant that Deputy O'Keefe and I myself have raised that numerous times on this committee, where people are simply not able to afford the bridging finance that's needed to improve the house and the retrofit of their house. Indeed, in one case, the Croí Cónaithe grant is another example where people have been approved by Kildare County Council, and in my case is where I live. But when they've approached their local credit union, they're saying because there was a cancer diagnosis, they couldn't actually get that bridging finance. And I think it's something this committee, and indeed it's already, as I said, been mentioned today, and I would welcome a response on it, that needs to happen because these people are living in energy poverty. They cannot upgrade their homes, they cannot retrofit their homes, and it is leaving them in a very, very difficult position. So again, just to thank the night nurses, Chair, not going to hold up the meeting, but just to get that bridging finance on the record, because I think, given the 3 cases I've had within the last 2 weeks, it is a serious, serious problem. And just to say as well, that government have had a report on improving the Housing Aid grants or the Housing Adaptation grant for almost 2 years now, because I've been following this. It is with the department at the moment, and hopefully we'll get some answers at our next session. But it needs to be changed, as Deputy O'Keefe said. €8,000 in current environment is simply not good enough. And in fairness to the Housing Adaptation grant, which can be up to 30,000, the billing costs I'm experiencing in Kildare at the moment for simple adoptions are up to €70,000. Where is anyone on those families struggling like they are to get that 30 or 40,000? So again, to thank our guests today and maybe to get some comments on that bridging finance that's so badly needed, Chair. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, do you want to lead off on that?
Well, certainly, as I said, look, when people are diagnosed with cancer, there's a massive income hit, and then they're hit with extra costs at the same time. So they simply don't have, and Senator Wall is correct, they just don't have the income to be able to bridge that. So that would certainly be an issue that we're aware of, and we appreciate you raising that. I suppose just in general, because I'm conscious, as the Chair said at the outset, the committee will be making recommendations out of this. So, as I said, we can follow up in relation to the specific figures that Deputy O'Keefe has raised. What Anna said is correct in that the vast majority of cancer patients will be older. It's primarily a disease of older people. But I guess in relation to this issue in particular, we would have concern actually about the particular hardship for those in younger groups. So when people who are diagnosed with a cancer at a younger age group, where often the income drop is greater because ordinarily they'd be in employment, they're not retired, they ordinarily would actually be in employment, they're likely to be in the midst of their mortgage or rent, so they have those costs, they have childcare costs. You know, when someone has a childhood cancer, again, like the income hit for parents of taking time off work to look after that child, additional childcare for other children while they're travelling to Crumlin with the child who was sick. So those are all massive issues. So we would actually have, well, our stats that we will send you will show that primarily those who die from cancer are older. Actually, the hardship is often greater for those caring for a child who's ill or those who are diagnosed with cancer themselves in a younger age group, where they would ordinarily have a higher income and where they have so many other household costs before they're hit with all the additional costs of cancer. So we just urge you just to see behind the stats and see that that's the particular group who we really feel that need help and that don't get access to over 70 schemes or all the other benefits that are there for older people. So that's why we're arguing that it should be universal.
Okay. Do Friends of the Earth want to come in on any of those issues?
Yeah, we welcome the Senator's comments on the issue around finance and the fact that most people can't afford the other half of the grant that is provided. One of the things we looked at, I know Jerry mentioned there, our partnership with Bohemians Football Club, which was a community engagement piece looking at kind of how communities can co-create solutions for retrofitting at a local level. And part of this brought together the SEAI and Codema, Dublin's energy agency, but as well as that, the credit union came along, and the credit union were really willing and very enthusiastic about kind of coming up with creative solutions for this issue of bridging finance. And they looked at forming a common bond specifically for members of this football club and leading to kind of greenhouse loans, etc. So I know the government has introduced low-cost loans at the moment, but I think expanding that to the credit unions would be a really positive step forward as well. And as well as that, with the low-cost loans, like, it will work for some people, but there's still a lot of people that can't access credit for loads and loads of reasons, you know, and it's important that that is noted. If you look at other EU countries, I think it's either the Netherlands or Germany, they've introduced a zero interest loan for people who are on low incomes, which I think would be a much better solution for people who can't maybe access the low interest loan specifically.
Yeah, and I think it was raised by Irish Rural Link last week that the credit unions may be locked out of that low interest rate loan scheme, which I think is something that could be addressed. Senator Wall, have you any follow-up questions on that?
No, I thank Claire for coming back in, Chair, because I think the credit unions can play a massive part here. So I think it's something that the committee will take up further. But thank you, Chair. Appreciate that.
Very good.